Well, hey guys. Well, I'm into a fairly major project here. I've been cleaning this shop of mine that's been getting to be a catch-all for almost 17 years now. But this is where I come in and do any of my automotive work I have to do, and I'm just getting too old to be under these vehicles anymore. The salt and the brine around here just eats them alive. So I have to get under these things, keep them alive. So right now, I mean, every bench is covered with crap because I've been just moving stuff for just about the entire week here. What I'm doing next is tomorrow morning, my buddy and I are going to take a ride down to Delaware, and I'm going to be picking up a car lift. So I'm going to be putting a car lift in my shop here. So I got things marked out onto the floor where things will be. This will be nice. I'll be able to get this thing up, you know, get cars up in the air and actually work on them. So I still got a bunch of stuff to move over there yet. My lathe, that's on wheels. I can roll that over to the side over here. And but I was concerned with the height of these lifts, so I had to get a base plate unit. And that's pulling in, I think the columns are around 111 inches tall. I do have, you can see my ceiling there, it's dirtier than hell, but I have 12 foot on the flat, and then on the angle, it's got to be about 10 foot where the post goes up. So I have room there. The cars, I should be able to lift all the way. My van, I should be able to get up, you know, 5.5 foot. That's better than laying on my back. So, like I said, this is going to be an ongoing project here because I got to get everything bolted down to the floor. I want to do extra supports. I have to get, you know, the wiring hooked up and, you know, everything like that. But it'll be nice to have a lift in here. So I'm going to go pick up the unit tomorrow, and then we'll just see how much energy we have left to get that in, because I'm going to need my front end loader to bring that in because it weighs 1,700 pounds. So that's it for now, guys. I'll update you when I get the unit. Hey guys, well, we made it back from Delaware. I'm back into Pennsylvania here. I'm kind of close to the road. I'm at the end of the driveway here, but we got this thing all the way back safe and sound. We're going to unstrap the you know, all the packing on and stuff, and carry the columns in individually. And right now, turn around, you can see my buddy's coming over with the front end loader over here, so that'll make it a little easier. So I'm not going to film all this, but I just wanted to show you what we got so far. And you know, that's 1,700 pounds of steel, so I definitely want some hydraulics to help us out with this. So, all right guys, I'll catch you next time. Okay, we got the columns inside the shop here. It was a bit of work, even with the forklift. We had to balance it on a strap and kind of walk it in so we could lay them lengthwise in like this. So next thing is I'm going to go see if I can get another buddy. So we have 3 guys. We're going to try to stand this one post up here, and then we can just walk it into position. This one over here, I have to do a small modification to it. The bracket for the hydraulic cylinder, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's on the back side here, makes it too tight in the shop, so I'm going to have to weld the bracket up on the side here so the hydraulic unit is on the side. So I'm going to go dig up my other buddy and see if we can get one of these things up. It's pretty beefy. I mean, this bottom plate here, this is like 13/16 steel, so it's pretty heavy gauge. So I'll go see if I can get my other buddy, and we'll get one of these stood up, and then we can start looking at things. Hey guys, it's the next day. Got these columns to stand up, and that one's just sitting there, no bolts in it. But this one here managed to get 4 of the bolts in. I had some other stuff to do today, so that's all I got done. And getting those anchors fastened in there it was a bit of a chore. I bought a brand new 3/4 inch bit for my rotary hammer, and they're 5.5 inch. They're the wedged anchor bolts, and you got to be careful. If they don't bite in, this thing will just pull right out of the ground. Once it gets down far enough on that taper, then it'll bite in there. But I did buy this stuff here. This is a AC 100 Gold. It's a 2-part epoxy. It's made for anchors, so we just smear a little bit of that epoxy around, put them into the hole. I'd let it set up for about 5 minutes, and then I would start torquing them down. The first one I didn't wait, and it felt like it was pulling out, so we just put it back in, let the epoxy set up, and then it pulled right up to 150 pounds of torque where it should have been. So I learned a little lesson on that. There's 2 more bolt holes in the back here. It's kind of dark, you can see them. But that, I'm going to put a little bit different setup on that. I'm going to run an extra plate here out, and a couple more bolts to really secure this back edge, because if it wants to tilt at the top, the back edge is going to want to lift. So I want all the assurance in the world that this thing isn't going to go anyplace. So I ordered some longer bolts for that. So I'm waiting on them. I thought I was going to have to do a little bit of welding on this, but it turned out I didn't have to put a bracket on the side, because this is the oil tank right here, and I was concerned my bench, you can see how close it is, but it's actually higher than the bench. So it worked out, I didn't have to do anything, and I didn't want to really. So next thing is you can get this one set up over here. And my schedule is pretty booked up this week. I don't know how much I'll be able to get done after work, but I can put those bolts in. Same thing over here, I'm going to add that extra plate on the back. So, and then down the road I have to get more steel because I'm going to add over here, I'm going to put a post on the top there that goes up to the ceiling, put a beam across there, and then, you know, screw into the rafters themselves. Same thing over here. I'm going to run it right up to the ceiling, so the building will be part of the structure too. And if I have room, I'm going to put I'll put a cross brace if it doesn't interfere with the lifting of the car. And other than that, the shop still looks like a bomb went off in here. So until I get this project done, everything's just scattered around. So that's progress right now, and I'll keep you updated as I go. All right, guys, catch you later. Well, it's the next weekend now. I picked up some steel during the week here, and I got some. This is a 6x6 by 3/8. This one's going to be on top of the posts themselves. They'll be mounted up to my ceiling area. This one was a bear because it had to be cut on an angle to match the roof angle. It's pretty heavy duty stuff here. And over on this side here, I had to cut a slot right here. There's a bolt that goes down through the plate, and it's a bolt that goes over top of the pulley so the cable can't hop off the pulley. So I had to cut a little window so I could get a wrench in it. So I'm getting ready to weld this up. I'll put it in place and to show you what it looks like. And after I get this thing tacked, I'm going to do it in place. I'll bring it down and weld it up and paint it up, and that'll be it for today. So I'll show you what it looks like in place. So here we go. Okay, I'm on top of the scaffold here. Up here I mounted two 2x12s up into the rafters. These are 8-inch lags. They're going into 2x12 rafters. There's 10 of them across the whole thing. This is a 6-foot 2x12 rather, doubled up. So I got 3 inches there. This is the top plate of the lift itself. The pulley will go here again. I just took that off, so when I weld I didn't do anything to it. And I mounted up some 3/8 plate up here. It's held on by some screws right now. And once this is welded up, then I have 1/2 inch by 4-inch lag bolts that'll go into this whole beam, and that'll really stiffen up this whole top. So that's it until I get this thing welded, and then I'll show it to you from there, okay? Okay, it's the next day. I didn't get this up the other day. I painted it and let the paint dry. But that's it, it's all welded up. I did triple welds around everything. They're not the prettiest, I'm not the best welder, but it'll stick. But this is going to give it a lot of strength at the top of this thing, so I'll let you see it from the ground. You can see it goes all the way up to the ceiling there. That's 2x12 bolted in with 8-inch lags. Then I have 4-inch lags mounted into that on that top plate. So I just don't trust a two-post setup like this. So I want to give it all the strength I can do. So it cost me a little extra in steel, but at least I won't have to worry about these things coming down. So that's about it for now. Alright guys, I got the second extension for the column up there now. That one pulled in about 28 inches. Right now I just tacked it to both plates, and what I had to do is down at the bottom here is I had a couple of house jacks and ran some 2x10s up on both sides of that beam, and we jacked the ceiling up maybe about 1/8 of an inch so we could slide the piece in and then lower the ceiling back down. So now I got to unbolt the base plate and get my buddy, and we can lower this down and I can weld it up. So that's it for now. Well, hey guys, I managed to get this support welded up yesterday and painted, and everything's intact now. So that's bolted up to that beam there. Had to take out one of my 4-foot lights. You can see over the years how dirty the shop got. And man, I've been doing welding, painting, anything in here, and just after 17 years it looks like hell. But that's going to add a lot of support to this thing. That's 6x6 by 3/8 steel there, and I did a triple weld on that also. So that should stiffen this whole thing up. Right now my shop looks like even worse than a bomb went off. I had to move my drill press out to the middle of the shop here, and so I had to get my buddy to come over, and we had to put that on a dolly. But I got these that's an 18 by 18 1/2-inch plate that I'm going to use behind this. I'm going to mount that right to here and then go back with it to give this back edge extra support. So that should do it. So those are the two main things I got to do, is get these plates made up. I have one new one there and an older one underneath. And I think that might even be 5/8. So it's going to be tough drilling those 1-inch holes through there. So that's about where I'm at right now. So I'll keep you guys you know, up to date what I'm doing here. All right, take care. Well, hey guys, I got one of these base plate supports made up. I painted it yesterday, so here's the base plate itself. That's an 18 by 18 1/2-inch plate, and then this right here, this is 3 inches by 3/4 plate right there. I needed that thickness because I had the base plate of the lift itself is 3/4, so I had to you know, use that to raise it up, and this will give it an incredible amount of strength. And I'll just flip it over. I have to put the camera down, so I'll shut it off and flip it for you. Okay, so that's just the top of the plate right there, and I'll lug it over to the lift there. I got it on a roller dolly. It gained a lot of weight with that 3/4 on there too. So I'll show you how this goes on. Okay, I'm over at the lift now. So with this plate being here, here's your base plate right here, and then there's two holes. There's one here, I don't know if you can see, but there's one here, and that was what's supposed to support this whole thing. It was 2 bolts here, 2 here, and 2 on the other side, just 6. Now with this, now I got longer anchors. These are 7-inch. So I can, you know, compensate for all this thickness. So I'll put the original 2 in here, and then I'll come back to here this will be the secondary hole here, and you don't need anything in the back because all the force will drive this plate downward. So if this plate wants to try to lift in any way, it has to fight this bolt here and fight the back edge. So it's a lot more strength to it. Over-engineered, yeah, that's me. But I never put one of these things in. I know a little bit about you know, adding strength to structures and stuff like that, and I just wanted to do this because I'm the one underneath this thing. So it was a little extra work, a little extra money, but it makes me feel better. So I got one more of those plates to make up for the other side. This one just has to be drilled and then the anchors go in. So one more plate to go and then it'll be ready to start running cables and hydraulics. So that's it now, for now guys. Catch you later. Well, hey guys, last weekend I had a real good weekend getting this unit together here. That's that plate I was showing you. It's all bolted in there. So that'll give it a lot of strength in the back. Let's see here. It does come with the extensions if you have to raise the pads up to get under the vehicle. And up here, here's the pump. Let me show you some of my electrical here. This one is a 2-horse, and at full amperage, this is pulling in at 15.1, so that's pretty low amperage. So here's the control box, the lift button right here. So what I did is I put an auxiliary box on here. This is a 2-pole or double pole 20 amp switch. This is my emergency switch. If this button ever sticks, I have a way to kill the unit down so it doesn't just run wild on me. So that's the electrical right there. Over here, I greased all the cables. You know, I didn't have to grease them all the way, but I figure, you know, with all the high humidity and stuff, I don't want any surface rust. Greased up all the corners for the bushings in the back of this thing. So, and down here, I did something a little bit different. Here's my hydraulic hose, and you see the cables running here. Actually, I created a trough for it, and let me zoom out here. You can see that the hydraulic line kind of wavers back and forth. It was a little bit long. I mean, I set this up to what the specs told me to, and the hose is a little bit long. I thought about putting clamps on that, but then I discovered something down the road, and I'll show it to you in a few minutes here. So I just took a piece of, this is just a piece of 1/4 inch plywood. This is some pine. I ripped that down to 1 inch, so it gave me 1 1/4 inches off the floor here. And now this hose just sits in this trough, and it can move around because as more weight is created on this will move around. These are just foam blocks. I just put them on there. They'll compress when I put the cover on right there. That has 1.5 inch clearance, so they'll just crush down. You know, just to keep it from twisting. Everything's double painted. Should seal it, but just for a little reassurance there. So that's all that. And over here is that massive plate I did in the back over here. That was a piece of 5/8. Boy, that was a bear. It really helped having a second guy lift that on the drill press when I was drilling it. So everything's pretty much set right now. And let me just turn the camera off for a few minutes here. I'll get this close to full extent. And then when I hit full extent, you'll see that that hydraulic line will stretch straight. So that's the reason I didn't want to capture it in any way. So let me shut off and get this thing ready. Okay, I'm almost ready to go to full extent. What I did, I put a little red mark here, and I brought it down so I can actually see it when the vehicle is lifted. So I know I'm getting close to full extent right there. So, and right now the hose still has that wavy motion to it. So I'm going to fire up the pump, and once I hit full extent, you'll see what happens. So here we go. And you can see it just went straight that way. So that's why I didn't want to capture it. So when I relieve the pressure, let it back onto the stops, you'll see it goes back. So I didn't want to constrain that in any way. So the other thing I did is, let me lift this a little bit. Okay, and I got to release the stops now. That's that one there, and over here, get that one set. Let me lower this down just a little bit, and I'll show you another thing I did to this. I set it so that when the lift locks go, they're out of sync a little bit, so I can hear them both. If they're both hitting at the same time, you're not really sure if they're going, you know, positive lock on it. So I offset the, you know, equalizing cables a little bit. So let's see if you can hear it here. It just gives me a little bit more assurance that I can hear it locking. So that's about it now. I got to get the cover on. I got to clean some stuff in the shop here. I got a pile of stuff over there, and I'm gonna go for a lift today. So that's it for now, guys. Okay guys, I got the van inside the shop now. I got the arms under the van. I got everything adjusted, and had to play around with getting everything set up. I put a little bit of tape on the floor just to get me located in here a little bit better. Had to find the right balance point. So here we go. This is what I was waiting for all this time now. So all right, power up. Alright, just lowered it down on the locks. So here we go. Now I can get underneath this thing and do some work for it. You can see I already started doing some of the rust prevention under here. Got some paint up here. I have to get some more of that core seal that works really good on the rust. But this is a lot better than laying on my back and doing this stuff. So this is gonna be a world of difference here. So, but I wish I could get a little bit more height out of this because I am fighting the ceiling up top here. I don't know if you can quite see, but my roof racks are almost touching the ceiling over there and over there. I think I might put a small window in the sheetrock, and I should be able to get up a couple more inches, you know, maybe 4 or 5 inches more. But this is going to be a world of difference working on this thing. You know, you can see all the rust here I got to deal with. But that's it. You know, I did a lot of extra work on this stuff. That's just me. You know, I wanted to see those extra supports in the ground and the extra support up the top there. I feel confident in it now. So the cars I should be able to raise a lot higher. In the back it's not too bad. Under the front you have to squat down a bit, but like I said, it's still better than being on your back. So that's it, guys. It was well worth it. You know, I only had a chance on the weekends to work on this thing. If I could have worked straight on it, you know, I could have had it done in a week. But that was me. I wanted all that extra support up there. But this is going to be well worth it. Now I wonder why I didn't do this 10 years ago. So, alright guys, that's it. This is my Atlas 9,000 pound lift install and modifications. It might not be for everybody, but it might give some people some ideas. So, alright guys, take care for now, and this project is done.